In this Lost Ark Paladin guide, I'm going to show you what it means to play as a Paladin in terms of how well they perform in combat, the best skills and tripods to focus on, and the playstyles available to them. If you're searching for a tanky warrior that supports allies while dealing some damage, then this Lost Ark Paladin guide is for you. Be sure to check out our other Lost Ark class guides, including the Shadow Hunter, Sorceress, and Gunslinger, if you're looking for more information about them. Paladins are one of the advanced classes that fall under the warrior class. They yield a combination of one-handed sword and holy book, which they use to deal damage as well as protect and buff allies. In comparison to the Berserker and Gunlancer, which are the other warrior classes available on Lost Ark, Paladins are challenging to play because of the environmental knowledge that's necessary to know the right time to cast skills. As a Lost Ark Paladin, you won't be dealing as much damage as the other DPS-focused advanced classes like the Shadow Hunter, Gunslinger, and Sorceress. To compensate for this, you're able to cast damage buffs and shields to assist your team, plus you're tankier than the second support class in Lost Ark, namely the Bard. Playing as a Paladin is more tricky at the start, considering that you don't have access to better skills, and you need to constantly adjust to your enemies and surroundings since the majority of your damage skills rewards back attacks. Because of this, mobs of enemies can easily overwhelm you, so it's important to capitalize on your mobility. Paladins and Bards are powerful support classes in Lost Ark, but there are a few differences that set them apart. For instance, Paladins are not only capable of dealing more damage, but also maintaining effective damage buffs that benefit the entire party. Comparatively, the Bard can help allies live longer due to her intense support skills which individually target allies, making them the prime choice due to their defensive playstyle. But if you're looking to play offensively while casting buffs and reducing incoming damage, then the Paladin would be a better fit for you. The Lost Ark Paladin is a hybrid support and DPS class that deals an acceptable amount of sustained rather than burst damage. As such, they're also more manageable to level up. Paladins are known for dealing damage from time to time in group content while mostly supporting the party with skills which allow them to buff their damage, mitigate the damage they take, and restore some health. All advanced classes in Lost Ark have unique features or identities that differentiate them from other classes. These can either unleash more damage or enhance the buffs they grant. For the Lost Ark Paladin, it's the Piety identity, which is divided into two categories, namely the Sacred Executioner and Holy Aura. Sacred Executioner widens the range of their attacks and inflicts more damage using their Punish or Blue skills. Holy Aura, on the other hand, boosts the damage of everyone in the party with the help of their Holy or Yellow skills. Successfully hitting their targets and passively waiting for the energy to flow while in combat are measures to filling up their piety meter. Unlike the Sorceress, they can only activate Sacred Executioner or Holy Aura, not both, since the piety meter is at its maximum level. Between the two, Holy Aura is preferable as it benefits the entire party, rather than focusing on improving your own damage. Of course, if you're leveling up as a solo player, it's best to constantly activate Sacred Executioner. Note that when either of these skills is active, you won't be gaining energy. But when you return to your normal state, you once again fill up your piety meter without needing to wait for several seconds, unlike the Shadowhunter's Shadow Burst energy meter. Moreover, the energy that you've gathered won't be expended over time, so you can wait for the best moment to consume it. By the time your Paladin reaches level 60, you'll have unlocked a total of 20 skills comprised of Punish, Holy, and Awakening skills. To add to this, you've invested several points into Punish and Holy skills to specialize further by unlocking their respective tripods. The tripod system allows players to customize their skills in various ways, like increasing the piety energy you gain or widening the skill's corresponding AoE range. In total, you'll only need to select 8 skills per character with a select number of tripods. In this section, I'll cover the essential Punish and Holy skills and tripods you should allocate points into, regardless of the playstyle you end up choosing. Punish skills and tripods. Charge. A gap closer that allows you to rush towards a group of enemies to slash them into pieces. Because of the excellent mobility and shining protection tripods, you're able to safely charge into them from far, since you generate a shield temporarily granting additional HP. With the Law of the Jungle upgrade, you inflict extra damage thanks to an additional horizontal spinning attack. Executioner's Sword. A series of heavy attacks where you wield your sword with 2 hands to greatly damage enemies. What makes the Executioner's Sword more useful is its frontal attack feature, which means that you no longer need to change directions to effectively harm your targets. The tripods you should consider are Stigmata, Challenger's Will, and Executioner's Strike. This combination deals massive damage after attacking challenge or high-ranked monsters several times. It's even incentivizing solo players by enhancing the damage they inflict. Execution of Justice allows you to spin quickly to deal massive damage. Remember, once you activate Execution of Justice, you only stay in one area, making you susceptible to enemy attacks. To counter this, you can select the Bulwark tripod to be protected by a shield, but the caveat is you won't be able to pull in numerous enemies. If HP isn't a concern, then I suggest picking Rune Prison instead to affect as many targets as possible by pulling them into the central area of this skill. The other upgrades you should seek out are Strength Release and Light Explosion to boost your damage, especially when Sacred Executioner is active. Holy Sword. Imbues your sword with light energy, which you then use to stab enemies with. Holy Sword is one of the highest DPS skills of a Paladin, and it's made all the more effective thanks to the Stigmata, weak point detection, and condensed energy tripods. This combination enhances overall damage, and it leaves a debris of light in its wake to deal damage over time. Additionally, Holy Sword becomes much more potent against push-immune enemies thanks to weak point detection. The next skills are exclusively applicable to the Judgment Engraving or playstyle, which rewards the heavy use of Punish skills. Punishment slashes enemies multiple times to inflict increased damage. What makes Punishment very effective is the Concussion, Piercing Sword, and Leap Attack tripods. This combination allows you to effectively stagger enemies, ignore half of the challenge or higher ranked monsters' defenses, and improve overall damage. Dash Slash sprints towards enemies to deal devastating blows. You can take advantage of Dash Slash's duration, which lasts for almost 2 seconds, by carefully maneuvering yourself to go behind targets to successfully execute back attacks. To make the skill lethal, you should choose Quick Prep, Powerful Blow, and Finishing Strike in order to reduce its cooldown period and to improve your damage. Holy Skills and Tripods. Sword of Justice drops a sword on the ground to deal explosive damage. To increase the number of swords, which then boosts damage by 100% and inflicts paralysis on normal monsters, you should select the Dazzling Light Sword tripod. The rest of the upgrades to pick are Incite and Summon Holy Sword, to widen the skill's AoE while reducing its cooldown rate and to enhance the damage you and your allies deal for a period of time. God-Sent Law summons a circle of holy light to deal damage over time against enemies in the area. The best God-Sent Law tripods to pick are Shield and Wide Angle Attack to conjure a shield for you and your allies to temporarily improve HP and to broaden the skill's AoE respectively. For the last upgrade, you can either choose Grace or Light's Guardian to reduce incoming damage by more than 50% for 1 second, or to summon a Guardian which will inflict great damage. The drawback to choosing Light's Guardian, however, is that God-Sent Law has to be completely executed without any interruption to make use of the extra damage. Holy Protection conjures a barrier to protect you and your allies by momentarily enhancing your HP. What makes Holy Protection an essential support skill is quick pace and robust protection. This combination not only improves your mobility to dodge incoming attacks, but also enhances the amount of health you gain. With Vow of Light, a portion of your HP generated by the barrier will be permanently restored, but at the cost of prolonging Holy Protection's cooldown rate. Heavenly Blessings summons the Solar Guardian to deal lethal damage while blessing you and your allies with a damage reduction buff for several seconds. To maximize Heavenly Blessings capacity, you should consider taking Faith, Valor, and Heavenly Requiem. With these tripods, you're able to gain 50% of Piety energy, widen the skill's range while enhancing damage, and boost all allies' attack power. The next skills are exclusively applicable to the Blessed Aura Engraving or playstyle to make the most of the remaining holy skills. Wrath of God brings forth the power of lightning to inflict damage against enemies surrounding you. The Wrath of God tripods you want are Wide Thunderstroke, Faith, and Express Fury to widen the AoE, restore a portion of your Piety meter, and enhance you and your allies' attack power. Holy Explosion conjure an explosive ball of energy to greatly damage as many nearby enemies as possible. To make Holy Explosion much more effective in terms of buffs, it's best to choose Sturdy Armor and Light's Vestige. This combination not only significantly reduces damage taken, but also enhances the damage of you and your party. The last tripod to obtain is Explosion Aftermath to inflict massive damage over time in the area of the explosion. In Lost Ark, every advanced class unlocks engravings that allow you to further specialize in your chosen class, as these grant special effects, which you can activate by reading recipe books and equipping accessories and ability stones. You're able to obtain them as random rewards by completing endgame activities such as Chaos and Abyss dungeons and Guardian raids. In this section, I'm going to talk about Lost Ark Paladin engravings, which determine the playstyle you wish to adopt for your character and are class-specific abilities and traits. You gain access to this when you reach higher levels. The 2 class engravings available to the Paladin are Judgment and Blessed Aura. Let's first discuss the Judgment class engravings or playstyle together with the stats that go with it. Judgment is more focused on DPS since it boosts the damage dealt by punished skills and considerably improves the duration of Sacred Executioner. As long as the corresponding skills successfully land on the targets, you gain a huge percentage of the Piety energy. To maximize the amount of punished skill damage your Paladin deals, it's essential to reach Judgment level 3 as well as to slot 5 to 6 punished skills. In terms of Judgment's combat stats, you want to prioritize Swiftness followed by Specialization when gearing up. This setup enhances attack and movement speed while decreasing the cooldown period of your skills to be able to use them much more frequently. Furthermore, this stat distribution also increases the Piety energy you receive upon hitting enemies. Conversely, Blessed Aura is the more popular playstyle between the two because it supports the party better by reducing incoming damage while restoring a portion of everyone's HP when Holy Aura is activated. For the Blessed Aura engraving, reaching level 3 should be the goal for your build to considerably mitigate damage received in addition to slotting 5 to 6 holy skills. In terms of Blessed Aura's combat stats, you want to switch your priorities compared to Judgment's combat stats, meaning you'd be concentrating on specialization first and then swiftness. Aside from the benefits I've mentioned, you'll also improve Holy Aura's efficiency, making it more advantageous for you and your allies when it comes to buffs you receive. Final tips. As a Lost Ark Paladin, it'll take some adjustment to get the hang of the class since you'll be switching between buffing and supporting the party while occasionally dealing damage. But when you get used to it, you'll have a blast since you realize how integral they are to every team. Paladins grant consistent damage buffs all throughout, which no other class can reliably do. In PvP, they make use of their ability to successfully reduce the damage the party receives. However, they're not as mobile, so they can easily be cornered by fast-moving enemies like the Shadow Hunter or Striker. For holy skills such as Heavenly Blessing and Wrath of God, be sure that Holy Aura is inactive, otherwise the Faith Tripod will have been wasted since you won't be able to gain Piety energy. Moreover, for the same skills, remember that their attack power buff doesn't stack, so avoid using them one after the other. Lastly, if you wish to improve your Paladin's overall defense, shields, and healing, especially if you have more punish skills equipped, consider investing in endurance to survive longer in combat. Stay tuned for more Lost Ark class guides, and be sure to check out our Lost Ark wiki or drop by our Twitch channel if you have questions about the game. What did you think of our Lost Ark Paladin class guide? What advanced class are you planning to try out first? Let us know in the comments below.